So again, good morning, everyone. We are very happy that you are here with us today for the 7th East Asian Sea Senior Government Officials Meeting. And we would just like to remind you, if you have not yet reformatted your Zoom account name, kindly change it to your country name, ministry name, and your name as shown on the screen. And then for those colleagues who are convening in the same room and using multiple devices for the camera, you may use one gadget only and then audio source preferably coming only from one source. And then if possible, please use headset for or noise canceling equipment. If ever you encounter any difficulties during the meeting related to IT or connection, please send a private message to our IT support, June Dakaimat. And then for the duration of the meeting, we request everyone to please stay muted unless speaking. And you may call the attention of our chair by clicking the raise hand function on the horizontal panel of Zoom interface, or use the chat box for any queries or concerns. You may also call the attention of the chair by calling our chair, Dr. Keita. So we are now recording this event. So to start the meeting and we would just like to go over our participants. So for the SGOM, unfortunately, as mentioned in our advisory yesterday, our intergovernmental session chair, Dr. Vutanka, had to beg off from chairing this meeting due to a family emergency. But we are very happy that Dr. Keita Furukawa, our technical session co-chair, will be filling in, and he will be serving as our SGOM chair. Thank you very much, Dr. Keita. And then from our country partners, we are very pleased to have with us a strong contingent of delegation. Hopefully, TPR Korea will be able to join so we can have a full set of our 11 country partners. So from Cambodia, the delegation is led by His Excellency Yang Sopaliet, the Secretary of State. From China, Ms. Chen Dan Hong, the DDG of International Cooperation of MNR. Hopefully, DPR Korea will be able to join. If they would be able to join, we will have with us DDG Jong Kwang Jin from the Ministry of External Relations, and then External and Economic Relations. And then from Indonesia, the team will be led by Ms. Lukni Purwandari. She's the Acting Director of the Coastal and Marine Degradation and Pollution Control of MOEF. From Japan, SGOM delegation is led by Mr. Nobuhiro Hiroshima, the Director of MLIT. From Lao PDR, Dr. Intavi Akarat, the DG of DWR Monre. From the Philippines, we're happy to have with us Undersecretary Jonas Leones from DENR. From Aro Korea, Director Kang Jong-gu from MOF. From Singapore, Mr. Hazri Hassan, Director of International Policy, MSE. From Timor-Leste, we're still waiting, but we're hoping to be joined by Mr. Acacio Guterres, the DG for Fisheries of MAF. And from Vietnam, Dr. Nguyen Ke Lam, the DDG of VASI Monre. And then for today, the members of the Secretariat, of course, will be led by our Executive Director, Ms. Amy Gonzalez. And I'm joined here today by our Head of Planning and Partnership Development, Mr. Won Bae Kim, our Secretariat Coordinator, Karen C., our Executive Assistant, Ms. Diwata or Adi Kayaban, our IT Assistant, Mr. Jun Dakaimat, and our intern providing support, Ms. Isabel Acosta. So to start off, we will hear first from our PEMC Executive Director for some opening message. AG, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Kate. Good morning, everyone. I am pleased to see a strong contingent of country partners attending this senior government officials meeting. I would like to express appreciation for that, and also express appreciation for your hard work in the development of this draft declaration, which started sometime in March this year. And also, I am very pleased that we are securing a high-level representation for both now today and also the Ministerial Forum. This signifies strong support and commitment to our partnership and to our regional strategy, which is the Sustainable Development Strategy for the Seas of East Asia. Now, we barely have, I think, 5 working days, so less than a week, really, before the Ministerial Forum on December 2. So this is crunch time. This is crucial time for the senior government officials to arrive at a consensus on the declaration and endorse it as a final draft for approval and signature by your respective ministers or heads of delegation at the 7th Ministerial Forum. I would like to express also thanks and would like to reiterate for those still unconvinced on the support, operational and technical support to the PEMC Resource Facility as the Secretariat, providing not only coordination services, but also technical services and making sure that our partnership runs smoothly in the next years or so. And lastly, I would like also to check with many of you in this meeting if it is already okay to cite the Glasgow Climate Pact, reference it in the ministerial declaration, or if it's still premature to consider it now. Although definitely, if we cannot have if we cannot consider it now, we should possibly refer to it in the development of the SDSC implementation plan for the next 5 years. So just to put that on the table also on people's thoughts about that recently concluded negotiation. With that, I think let's start doing our business, and I hand it over to the chair, Dr. Kita Furukawa. Over to you, Dr. Kita. You're on mute, Dr. Kita.
Excuse me. Thank you, Amy. And good morning to you all, respected senior governmental officials and officials from each countries and PRF members. I'm Keita Furukawa, co-chair of the technical session of the PEMC. It is my great pleasure to be your SGOM chair, especially we are expecting all the 11 PEMC country partners will be participating in this time. Some technical issue is occurring, and we are hoping the DPR Korea is also joining us on time. Even if that is not happening within time, but I strongly believe that all the 11 PEMC country partners are gathering in virtually manner this time. So this is a remarkable moment to taking turn to green recovery from the difficult COVID-19 pandemic situation. And in line with the SDGs concept, no one left behind, I think. I'd like to congratulate and sincerely thank for your attendance again. I would like to highlight the importance of the SGOM here again, as AG already mentioned, but it is our platform for undertake final review and endorsement of the ES Ministerial Declaration, as well as arrangement for the coming 7th ES Ministerial Forum in December 2nd. I also would like to encourage all the senior government officials to bring their distinguished experiences, wisdom, and actively participation in discussion to achieve our goals and ensure the success of the meeting. So with this, I would like to start our session officially with checking the prepared agenda. So I'd like to ask Secretariat to present the prepared agenda for this typical SGOM. Kate, please take the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Keita, and to Amy. We will now be presenting the agenda of the meeting. So this meeting will run for 2 hours. So we have already completed our introductory remarks. So we will now proceed in reviewing and adopting this agenda item. So after this, we will proceed to Agenda 2.0, which is the most important part of this meeting, the final review and confirmation of the 7th East Asian Seas Ministerial Declaration. After that, we will have a short briefing on the program and the arrangements for the ministerial event, particularly looking at the program flow and how we will be conducting the signing of the declaration and some information on the requirements for the virtual event. And then we'll have the agenda for Agenda 4.0, the final confirmation of each country of their respective ministerial forum delegation for December 2. And then lastly, we'll have a short group photo and closing of the SGOM. So the program is straightforward, and we would like to submit this for adoption by the meeting. Back to you, Dr. Keita.
Thank you, Kate, for detailed explanation of our expecting agenda. So do we have any objection or thought for the proposed agenda at the moment?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please. Singapore.
This for the Philippines. This is a representative of the Philippines, Mr. Chair. This representation is from the Philippines is moving for the adoption of the agenda of the senior government officials meeting as presented, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat. Thank you, Philippines, for supporting and the procedure for proceeding comment for the agenda. And maybe can I ask about from the Cambodia? Do you have any additional point, or please state of that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everyone. I support with the proposal from the Philippines. Yeah, we go along with Philippines. Thank you.
Okun Cheran, thank you, Cambodia. So I see the majority of the floor is agreed to the proposed agenda. So it will be decided as it is. Okay, so now according to the agenda agreed, we would like to move directly into the agenda 2.0, focusing on the final review and confirmation of the 7th ES Ministerial Declaration. So can I ask Ms. Amy Gonzalez of the Executive Director of the PRF to present the document for consideration. Amy, floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Kita, and thank you for the confirmation of the agenda. I believe that Singapore also endorsed the agenda. So we had 3. That was good. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so just a brief background, especially for those officials that have not been, that have not been in the meetings, the online meetings that we've had on the process of the ministerial declaration. So we've had 3 rounds of country consultations completed from June to October 2021 on this 7th ministerial declaration. There were bilateral discussions conducted prior to the July meeting and also prior to the October expanded EC meeting. And then we've had feedback secured at both meetings, at both the 13th Partnership Council as well as the 27th Executive Committee meeting, which was expanded. So everybody actually attended that meeting as well. And we had an updated 4th draft declaration with a few remaining unsolved items, which was circulated to all countries for final review from November 2 to 17. So what we have on the table now is the draft 4 with some remaining items. Now, in the drafting process, the key considerations that we had was the brevity, succinctness of the statements, and making sure that it's not all over the place, and the conciseness and also clarity of the text. And then also we made sure that we would be using clear and internationally accepted and defined terminologies. And we thank many of you for pointing that out to us also. And then we wanted to make sure that, and as mandated also by the Partnership Council, that reference to relevant key global commitments are identified by countries. Instruments that were undergoing deliberations were not were omitted to avoid prejudging outcomes of current negotiations. And so this was at the time the climate change negotiation, as well as the post-2020 biodiversity conservation framework. Now, we also highlighted PEMC's achievements and strengths. I need not go over that because that's already in the declaration, and there were papers on those. And then also strong recognition on the persistent and emerging challenges in the region, including the global pandemic, of course, climate change, waste pollution, marine pollution. And then there was also strong support that we actually identify and highlight the PEMC roadmap to 2030, focusing on 4 key strategic objectives: on effective governance, on healthy ocean, healthy people, and healthy economies. The detailed roadmap and the SDSC implementation plan will be dealt separately, and this will be done next year. And then there is also, the concluding paragraph is a call for action, recognizing the support and supporting the PEMC Resource Facility as the Secretariat, as well as calling for stronger partnerships and commitment towards green recovery, as most countries are, well, all the countries are undergoing, building back better, bluer, towards green economic recovery programs. So those were the considerations, just to have that at the back of our mind. Next slide, please. So for today, before you, we had sent this ahead of time, the summary of response from countries on the updated 4th draft, and there were some countries who also mentioned that they were willing to withdraw some of their texts, or there were some refinements, additional things made, but in the spirit of transparency, we laid that all and sent that to you prior to this meeting today. And then we have the full draft of the Ministerial Declaration with comments and inputs received from countries as well. And so that was also provided to you. Next slide, please. And so what are the actions requested from today's SGOM? So we will have the final review and consideration of the proposed actions on the draft declaration that is in a tabular form that we have also shared with you, that I'll go and summarize in after this. And then the next one is to agree on the final draft of the 7th EAS Ministerial Declaration and endorse the same for signature by countries, heads of delegation at the 7th Ministerial Forum that will take place on December 2, 2021. Okay. So with this, we should go over the, how do we do this, Kate? Are you showing the, are you showing the tabulated form?
Yes, AG.
Okay.
Please give me a few seconds. We will be
Sure.
sharing now the consolidated review from the countries.
Mm-hmm.
It's up now. Can you see it?
Yes, it's not on full screen though. Okay. All right. So we'll do this quickly so that it's not a painful exercise. You've seen this. So, but we just want to run through this Ministerial Forum draft declaration with comments from many of you and proposed actions from PEMC Resource Facility. So we've consolidated all your comments and we propose some actions, looking at it from 3 lenses. One is we want the text clear and concise, and many of you have helped provide those. Second would be to ensure that we accept, we retain or use internationally agreed definition. And then the third, and for your consideration, is that we opt for like majority rule. So if we saw that one suggestion had more countries agreeing, we propose that that particular text will be accepted. So I'm just going to run through this quickly, but then Dr. Kita will walk you through each afterwards. So of the title, Preya Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration, Advancing Our Sustainable Development Agenda, Road to 2030 for Healthy Ocean, People, and Economies. But the short cut of this declaration would be Preya Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration, just like when we had the Iloilo Ministerial Declaration, the Danang Declaration, Changwon, Ansan, etc., etc. So that is the proposed title by the host, and it was accepted by all countries. So that's confirmed. The next agenda was originally the 11 countries bordering the seas of East Asia, but there was a proposal. I think this was by the council chair that we clarify that we use either official government representatives or representatives. So there were some stylistic comments. Indonesia, for example, to put semicolon, that's okay. And then majority opted to retain official government representatives. So the text now would be we, the official government representatives of 11 countries. This was not in your document, but a day after we sent the document out, Lao PDR came back suggesting to remove bordering the seas of East Asia because Lao is a landlocked country. Majority has not commented on that, and actually the phrase bordering the seas of East Asia has been used and adopted in many ministerial declarations, to designate that this country, to define the region. So we would like to propose the retention for the phrase bordering of the seas of East Asia. Okay, next slide. There was also a suggestion on green by Indonesia that we strengthen rather than taking note. We underline the need to address the impacts of COVID-19. And then the original, there is also the text here on the strategy, plans, or action. There were 3. So a strategy was struck down, and then there was a choice between plans and actions, with many countries preferring to use plans. So we would like to retain plans as the majority opted for it. And then for the consideration of the body of the SGOM, PEMC supports Indonesia's proposal to replace take note of with underline. But we put that on the table for your consideration. Next slide, please. Okay, here just to put a finer point, Indonesia suggested to remove climate and use the original term and the official term of the Paris Agreement. And we would like to adopt that suggestion, the Paris Agreement, because that's the internationally accepted description of the climate change agreement that was signed in Paris. It was countries also agreed to delete, signed in 2016. So I leave it there. And then the reference to the Glasgow Climate Pact, I would leave it for you to comment as well, whether it's already okay or it's still premature to do so, because countries are still undergoing review of what was agreed. Okay, and then next one, acknowledge the recognition of Philippines. Would like to replace it to just recognize, and I think that's quite to make it brief, and then to modify, take on a greater role in contributing to to help countries achieve. So simpler language, and so we would like to adopt the proposed modification from the Philippines, and also, again, Indonesia's suggestion to remove climate and just use the original term Paris Agreement. So on this, we would like to adopt the proposed modification from the Philippines and Indonesia. Next, again, this is something about the proper terminology in referring to the UN Decade of Ocean Science. Thanks to Indonesia also for spotting that, and we would like to adopt the proposed modification from Indonesia. The next one, Philippines would like to add the word coordinated, apart from integrated and inclusive science-based decision-making processes. And then also Lao, I think in consideration of their that they don't have a coast, they would like to insert river, was accepted by the country, so we would adopt the proposed insertion from the Philippines and retain the use of river as was already indicated in the fourth draft. Now next, healthy ocean, again, river, to take into account, that we also have rivers, not just Lao. And then the Philippines also suggested to modify the paragraph as shown in green highlights, just to make it clearer and also better. So we would like to adopt the proposed modification from the Philippines if the body for the body's consideration. Okay, next, water resources. Apart from coastal, ocean, and water resources, this was accepted by all countries, so we would like to retain that. Next, healthy economies. All countries accepted the water. The use of the term water, but except for the Philippines, and the Philippines suggested to delete unwater and modify the paragraph as shown in the green highlights, and we would like to adopt the suggested modification from the Philippines because I don't think it negates the use and non-use of the water anyway. I think it's better expressed also, so for the body's consideration. And then I think this is the final paragraph, the call for action, the coordinating and enabling mechanism. And I think all countries accepted the statement, so we will retain that. On the alignment with the global targets, objectives, goals, there were countries were split on the terms to use. But given that more countries opt to retain global goals, we would like to request the body to, if you want to further discuss or agree on the use of the term global goals. So I think that's it. That's a summary of okay. There's still some. Sorry, and this is the most important part. Okay. The term voluntary contributions and technical support, and then we would like to retain voluntary contributions and technical support because the majority opted for it, and actually this is faithful to the praise of the Iloilo Ministerial Declaration, as some wanted to refer to how was the expression of support and commitment to the PEMC Resource Facility in previous declaration, to look at precedents. And so this was the same phrase that we adopted in 2018. Okay, and then some more stylistic modification, which are important from Indonesia and the Philippines also, which I think we could accept for your consideration. And then on the signature page, country PRF modified the signature page to reflect the names of the confirmed heads of delegation per country who were given the authority to sign by either the ministers or if the ministers were there, then the name of the ministers. So I think most country partners confirmed the names in the updated signature page. So that's it, Dr. Kita, from my end. It's a summary of the Ministerial Declaration. Over to you, Dr. Kita. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Amy, for detailed explanation about the amendment of the proposed Ministerial Declaration. So let us do our SGOM discussion throughout this document. The discussion phase can be the twofold, I think. Firstly, we use this shared document and let us check the one-by-one basis for the amendment, and if needed, we do some discussion. And after that, if we reach to the consensus on the prepared declaration, we try to secure the final confirmation throughout the one-by-one basis for each individual respective countries. So before starting up the discussion, I would like to point it out that finally DPR Korea is now joining us, so that all the 11 countries for the SGOM is ready for discussed. And it is my apologies for the previous discussion, that the Singapore raising his sum up sign, but I'm not mentioned about that. But this is a very good way to showing your attitude for the discussion, so that don't hesitate to do that it again. So let us start. So we are seeing the same tabular for checking one-by-one basis. The first one is a title suggested, and already all the countries confirmed the suggested declaration title. So do we have any objection or thought for the proposed amendment at this stage? Because this is the final chance to express your view. So every time, even if we have a confirmation, but I try to be some kind of careful for making the discussion. Do you have any? So Secretariat, if you have find some suggestion or sign for seeking the floor, please advise me when it happens. And I see none, so so this is be decided as it is. So
Dr.
second,
Keita,
sure.
yeah, just
Kate?
to confirm. So if there are no feedback from the countries, we will consider this statement as confirmed by the SGOM. Kindly
Yes,
confirm, and then I will be indicating it on the document itself, just to guide us in the process.
Right. So the first phase, I just asking you all for do you have any objection or thought for further amendments after my explanation? And if the floor is silent, I will take as everyone agree on that and getting the consensus of that. But again, I stress for that in the second phase, one-by-one basis, I try to ask for all the country having the chance to speak up. So even if you skip the one-by-one basis checking at the first phases, you still have a chance to say something. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Keita.
Thank you for your clarification. So the paragraph 1, we have another amendment here, and there's a discussion point, 2 discussion points. First one is quite obviously, everyone seems to be agreed upon the amendment, but the second one, I think the terminology of the bordering of the Sea of East Asia should be removed from one suggestion. And in my understanding, the wording of the bordering is a little bit wider idea is inside it. I mean that you always know that the PEMC is working with the integrated coastal management, ICM. And in that case, even in the landlocked countries, having the effect, transfer effect from the land side to the sea side, so that we are the united. And if we say this is a border, that is a legal word, you have to face to the sea. But if we thinking, taking the word of the bordering, that is a more wider meaning included. And as a our heart to thinking as a coastal area as an integration. So in that case, I'm thinking that bordering the sea means even if you are landlocked, but still you are connected and having the influence onto the seaside. So I myself prefer the wording of the countries bordering the Sea of the East Asia at the moment. And the majority of the people thinking like that, I believe. But still, Lau PDL, do you have any additional objection or thought for your proposal? If you have, taking the floor, please. No. Okay, I understood that your wise appreciation for the changing, not changing the original text was adopted. Do we have any another additional comment or your thought on the paragraph 1?
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm interview from Laos.
Yes, please.
The yellow, the first paragraph and first sentence that we highlighted by the yellow color, yellowish there. There are two things that you mentioned, that officially government representative, or you just take the representative in terms of the long one and the short one. I don't know whether
I see. At the moment, we are intended to use the official government representatives in a more precise way. Yes, okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lau, PDR, for your clarification.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah.
Do you have any another thought? No. So it is be decided as shown in the amendment in the column. Okay. The paragraph 3, we have another amendment. And we should choose the two terminology here. And the suggestion is taking the, we underline the need of the address and followed by the green recovery plans. So do we have any additional comments or objections for this? Philippines, do you have any additional comments on this?
Mr. Jonas just went out of the room for a while. Mr. Jonas just went out of the room for a while.
Ah, okay. So you can take the final chance to making if you have any additional comment at the moment. So do we have any other input from the floor? So it is be decided as proposed at the moment. And paragraph 4, we wanted to proceed to that.
Dr. Keita, just
Yes.
to reconfirm, we are also retaining the term plans, given the majority opting for it.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Keita.
You're welcome. And all the floor, all the SGOM members, if you have some doubt about our my procedure, please let your hand raised and don't hesitate to speak up to draw the attention. Okay, one of the important things we have to discuss here is how we can combine the international movement within our declaration. And the Paris Climate Agreement is officially called the Paris Agreement. This amendment is very straightforward, but we try to delete the signed in 2016. There is a reason why, in my understanding, is as you see that the Glasgow Climate Pact was decided within the COP26 in Glasgow, and still that is under the process of the final agreement or signed on that. And also this is classified as a operationalized pact for the Paris Agreement. So if we draw the signed in 2016, this Paris Agreement just only refer the Paris Agreement itself, the proper document signed in 2016, but we are in the process of the following up of the Paris Agreement at the moment. For example, the Glasgow Compact Climate Pact is tried to be agreed for the contracting parties, and contracting parties, the countries are expected to making some kind of reporting throughout the Paris Agreement and the Glasgow Climate Pact. So this is an ongoing processes. So if we say the Paris Agreement only, we can include all this kind of movement, but in detail, the process is still moving. So we cannot list it up one by one basis here. So our proposal or PRF proposal is delete the signed in 2016 at the moment, and we call it as the Paris Agreement here to try to refer the big movement within the international arena. So with this explanation, do we have any another thought or objections or another proposals for amendment? Floor is open. It is very difficult to see all the members' face to see how you. Oh, Singapore, do you raising your hand? Yes, please, taking floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Keita. And I, first of all, let me just wish to convey our appreciation and congratulations to you for chairing this session. As far as I know, chairing a session virtually is very difficult, and would like to convey our support to you and provide full support to you as in your chairmanship. Singapore agrees with you in the sense that when we mention or give reference to the Paris Agreement, we did not say when it was signed. I think in in all the literature that we see, when we mention Paris Agreement, we just have to say Paris Agreement. No need to say when it was signed. And we also agree with you that, under the Paris Agreement, which was established in COP15, I believe, or in 2015, there are many other agreements that come after that in each successive conference of parties. I think we do not need to mention every single one. And I agree with you, Mr. Chairman, that even though we have a very good agreement at Glasgow, we did not put it in writing, and we just mention it broadly as the Paris Agreement. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much for Singapore for your very precise and firm statement for supporting the our thought. Do we have any other comments or discussions here? I see none. Okay. So it is be decided at the moment for SGOM taking delete the climate and signed in 2016 here. Now we are moving to the paragraph 7. Thank you, Secretariat, for keeping up. So here we have some suggestions to shortening the first phrase as a recognize and insertion of the reaffirm and put the additional text to enlarge the our thought included in this part. So do we have any objection or thought for this amendment? It seems that very quite straightforward, and I'm not insist my idea, but I just offer some flavor for or helping you thinking. You are thinking. Don't be afraid to making the objection or thought, any other thought. If none, I would like to be decided as it is, and SGOM is confirm the suggestion. Suggested.
Thank you, Chair.
Vietnam, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm agree with the adjustment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your supporting message. With this, I would like to take the confirmation from the SGOM for this typical paragraph and proceed to the next. Thank you. The paragraph 8 is very straightforward, that using a proper word for the UN Decade of Ocean Science. No objection, I think. Okay, so confirmed by SGOM as it is. Paragraph 11, under the effective governance, the insertion of the coordinated and the inclusion of the river within the coast and ocean management. It also very straightforward. Do we have any objection for thought? I think I see none. So this is also be decided and getting the approval of confirmation from the SGOM. Okay, so paragraph 12, under the healthy ocean. So again, the river is added to the with the coast and ocean ecosystem. This is quite straightforward, and additional comment for expansion of the coverage of the health, so the related natural resources as well as coastal communities. So with this, the healthy ocean is not only for the matter of the ecosystems within the river, coast, and the ocean, but also we have to thinking about the natural resources and the coastal communities as well. And another editorial amendment is also expressed. Do you have any objection or thought for these amendments? I see none. So it is also confirmed by the SGOM. Thank you, Secretariat, for adding the confirmation mark here. And we are proceeding for the paragraph 13 under the healthy people. So we would like to add the sustainability use and manage coastal, ocean, and water resources to catch up the some additional geological setting for the mentioned issues. Do we have any suggestion? It is already accepted by all countries in previous round of the consultation. So if we don't have any objection or suggestion, we do decide it as it is, and we are getting the confirmation by the SGOM for here again. Okay, the paragraph 14 for the under the healthy economics. So economics is a very broad idea, so that we have to carefully choose the word for inclusion of the wider idea, and also try to make ourselves to concentrate to the important area. By that, the sustainable, or the word of the sustainable, is proposed to be included, and water is already accepted by the previous paragraph, and additionally related terms is also inserted by the suggestion. So we would like to ask the people for your confirmation of this change. Do we have any discussion matter for this? Or
Dr. Keita,
any
if
thought?
I may.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
we would just like to get confirmation from our colleagues from Lao PDR, because the request initially to insert "and water" came from them. But in this new version, as you can see in the green highlights, the Philippines is suggesting if we can delete "and water" and instead replace that with "and related resources," as well as other additional insertions from the Philippines. So we would just like to double check with Lao PDR if they also agree with the proposal coming in from the Philippines.
Okay, thank you for clarification. So can we ask Lao PDR for taking mic?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for Philippines for your suggestion. We agree with that. We have no objection for that. Thank you.
Thank you for your understanding.
Yeah.
So it is be decided as proposed. So we're getting the confirmation by the SGOM for this particular paragraphs. So now we are coming to the heart of our declaration, the paragraph 15, under the call for action. So here we have some discussion for three things. The first one is all country is already accepted the insertion of the coordinating and enabling mechanisms. Do we have any objection for this? No. So now we have a very big choice should be taken for this one. The second point for this paragraph amendment of this paragraph is how we call it, which is aligned with the global target or global objectives or global goals. And as you see that the majority is directing for the global goals, and the goals and target is a relatively similar words to describing the outcomes, and the objectives, global objectives is directing some processes to reach out to the goals. And goals and targets is very closer word, but if we say goals like sustainable development goals, we are having some certain vision for the achievement. But if we say that the target, that the final achievement is still on the head, and we are talking about the future projections, such a kind of flavor we have. So do we have any another thought to choosing the word of the objectives, goals, and targets? Just opening up for your hearing your voice. If not, we wanted to proceed to making the confirmation to use the global goals at the moment. Do we have any objection to use the global goals here? Seems no objection. Oh, raising a hand from the Singapore. Yes, please.
Thank you, Dr. Kita. Thank you again. You described very well the nuancing between the use of the term goal, targets, and in fact, Singapore preferred objective because when we refer to goals or target, it refers to some kind of commitments, whereas we talk about objective, it could be goals and targets too, but in a qualitative way or qualitative fashion, I would say, no hard numerical target. We are okay with giving the word goal, as you mentioned just now, Chairman, that it has some connotation to the Sustainable Development Goal. And between goals and target, we prefer goal actually, because target has another kind of nuance. If you look at target, it has some kind of a commitment instead of an effort to achieve a certain ambition. So we can agree with you, with your suggestion, Chairman, that we will resort to the use of the word goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Singapore, for your supportive thought. And I also agree that the importance of the commitment, and thank for your understanding. Okay, so for the second part of this paragraph was be decided as using the global goals. If you have no or additional objection or thought. Okay, so it is be decided, and getting a confirmation by the SGOM to taking the global goals terminology here. And the third point for all the this typical paragraph is taking the word for voluntary contribution and technical support instead of the financial and technical support. So majority of the previous consultative processes, many countries is expecting to use or expressing the agreement on use of the term voluntary contribution and technical support. Do you have any another thought or objection to use this new wording? If none, I'd like to propose to taking the SGOM to be decide the voluntary contribution and technical support expression here. Okay, the
Mr.
confirm.
Chair?
Yes, please.
Yeah, just also to confirm, this particular phrase was also accepted by the countries. This was inserted in the last draft, and based on responses received, we have received majority, all countries actually accepting this phrase. So I would just like to make sure that we take note that this is also confirmed by SGOM.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you for clarification for that process. Additionally, just double check that all country already accepted, but the statement of the ES countries have signed too can be inserted into the original text. Do you have any objection here? No, so it is be decided as proposed. Okay, we have four confirmation for this difficult paragraph. And now we are proceeding to the paragraph 16, and Indonesian suggestion and insertion. Excuse me. The Indonesia suggested to delete the and people because of the some wording not much with a regenerate. So they try to make a sentence flow, and the pandemic, global pandemic is altered as just the pandemic, and we put the support here or build back better wording, and resilient, healthier and resilient ocean. So this kind of alternation, it seems that the sentence flow very smoothly. Do you have any objection or another thought for amendments? Okay. If none, I would like to take this suggestion as our confirmation of the SGOM.
And Chair, may I say
Yes.
some words?
Yes, China, please.
Okay. And from the paragraph 2 of call for action, just now you mentioned Indonesia has some proposal of delete the and people, and then we reviewed the feedback of the partners and come to a new thought. I think it is true that COVID-19 has brought activities to a slowdown, but it seems it is not proper for the minister to define it as a chance for the environment to reset and regenerate. So we suggest to delete the sentence as that COVID-19 brought to people and environment negative challenger, and then the chance. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, China, for the new proposal. now we're try to making a discussion on the proposed alternation. But so
Yeah, Mr.
Kate-
Chair, if
Kate-
I may suggest, if China can type it on the chat box so we can see
Okay.
the new text proposed.
Yeah, that's very helpful. So China, can you cut and paste your additional description or your proposal into the chat box? Then the secretary can making copy to the our discussion diagram.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Amy, for good suggestion. And sorry for China to making another additional work, but for the new proposed sentence should be discussed very carefully, I think. So please bear for us for a little bit time. Yeah.
Okay, based on the message, Mr. Chair, China
Right.
suggests to delete the whole first sentence of paragraph 16. So the suggestion is to delete this entire sentence.
So we started from the as the world adjusts and works to manage the pandemic, like that. So
I believe
can I get
that's the suggestion? Yes, maybe call on Ms. Chen again to please clarify, maybe.
Yeah, Ms. Chen, if I may, can we confirm that I thought that you were previously proposing the amendment sentence, but the suggestion is just deleting the first sentence. Is it right?
Yes, that's our suggestion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Do you have any another thought to retain the this typical sentence, or you agree with deletion of the this sentence? In my thought, this is a short description for understanding our situation, and if the good situation understanding is skipped, sometimes maybe not for this time. This time we are having all the same experience in the this Asian region, and we are sharing the situation, so that it is very quite obvious things, and we do not thinking that we don't need to describe the obvious things within the declaration. But if we're thinking about the retention of this declaration for a long time, and after 10 years, 20 years, if people see, and the people who don't have the experience for the COVID-19, is the deletion of the sentence makes sense for the only say that the as a word adjusts and works to manage the pandemic. So please thinking this is enough for making a good background understanding for each other, or as China is expressed that this is not directly linked to the minister's action proper, so it can be deleted. Do we have any another thought or additional comment for this suggestion? Yeah, take time for reading the sentence and thinking your opinion. So, Philippine, do we have any another thought from your side? Please
Mr.
take your
Chair.
floor.
Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
please.
we agree on the proposed provision, but may we suggest that after resulting, the word resulting, we put there in. So it will be read as resulting in economic crisis. PEMSEA should take opportunity and so on. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you. If okay with the members. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippine, for your specific suggestion. Okay. Singapore, please.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. We agree with China that and Indonesia that it's not appropriate for us to mention the first sentence, so we support its deletion. But look, reading at it again, if you start the paragraph with the sentence that it is now, as the world adjusts and works to manage the pandemic, there is a lack of introduction to this sentence. So I would suggest that maybe we can think of a sentence to replace the sentence that we just deleted. Just thinking at the top of my head, this sentence, COVID-19 has brought challenges, but also opportunities to reset and regenerate. We can modify this somewhat as we go along, Mr. Chairman, but I think we should have a sentence to just introduce this paragraph and give meaning to the second sentence when we talk about the pandemic. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Singapore, for your explanation, showing some another suggestion for describing the pandemic situation. So can I have your voice from the China, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes,
Yes,
for the suggestion from Singapore, we can keep the first part of the sentence. COVID-19 has brought challenges, but we don't think it's an opportunity to reset or regenerate. Actually, as we all know, COVID-19 is negative. It's brought the catastrophe. We cannot see its positive side of the pandemic, I think. So we prefer the first part of the sentence, okay, to delete, but also opportunities. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, China, for your understanding and also the additional suggestion for brushing up the sentence. Yeah, the opportunities is no, maybe the square bracket ended up the end of the opportunities. The China is try to delete, but also opportunities only, I think. Is it confirmed? Yeah, she's nodded.
So just to double check, Mr. Chair, the proposed statement from China is COVID-19 has brought challenges, full stop?
No, brought challenges to reset and regenerate.
Oh, okay.
There.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, Chair. So it's a misunderstanding. So we can define the COVID-19 has brought challenges to the people and the environment. We can define it, but not the result.
To the environment.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Ms. Chen,
okay, thank you.
Are you proposing that we delete this as well?
Yes, yes, we delete.
Okay, so the China's intention, in my understanding, is not to make the enforce the positive side of the COVID-19 itself, because this is just describing the situation of the COVID-19, and we are working after the post COVID-19, And of course, within our declaration, we have a scene for the our targeted goals. That can be the more positive side, but this particular part is referring to the situation understanding. So the China's proposal is just saying that COVID-19 has brought challenge to the people and the environment.
Mr. Chair, just on
Yes.
the chat box, we received a note from Indonesia that they wish to support the Chinese suggestion. We would just like to reconfirm this with Indonesia. Are they supporting the most updated version as reflected on the screen?
That's true. That's true. I
Yes.
also
Yes, Mr.
understood
Chair.
that Indonesia is expressing their attitude at the first religion version for that. Indonesia, if you like, please take floor for your additional comment if you like, if you have. Yeah, again, I would like to stress that the following sentences, we are describing what is coming next, like a PEMC should take the opportunity to support the green build back better, like green recovery to build back better, healthier and resilient ocean people and economics. This side is a positive side to the future. So the China's proposal is describing as firm description for the COVID-19 in the first sentence. Do you have any another thought from
Mr. Chair, from the
Sure.
chat box again?
Sure.
Yeah, we received further response from
Okay.
Indonesia that they are supporting the deletion of the first sentence. That was the first suggestion made by China. But they would like to take some time to further discuss on the new proposal. So we, Mr. Chair, will we give countries further a few more minutes to review the sentence?
Right.
Or if there are other inputs, so we can already reflect on the screen. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Because of this SGOM having some role for decide our final draft of the ministerial declaration. So please carefully reissue the proposed sentence here, and we would like to hear your decision in a few minutes, hopefully. And throughout the time, I just wanted to highlight that the remaining discussion is just pointed out to the country partners to confirm the names in the updated signature page. So this is not for the discussion, but for your confirmation. So actually, this last but not least paragraph 16 is the only things we are remaining for consideration. Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may make a suggestion, I would like Kate to put the entire draft, the latest version on the screen, Kate, because actually we have some preambular statement already dealing with COVID, which is not shown here because it was not a contested paragraph. There were not contested paragraphs, but not to open the discussion on those because those are already agreed. But it has some preambular statements on COVID, and so perhaps the suggestion from China to delete the first paragraph can work if we could just do that, Kate.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you for clarification
I'll
for that. And
yes, Mr. Chair.
I see the Japan is raising his hand. So can I give floor first for Japan?
Thank you, Chair. I agree. Japan agrees that the updated text. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your brief and firm comment on that. And describing additional suggestion from the executive director of the PRF is since we have another COVID-19 situation understanding sentence in the preamble of the our declaration. So first proposal from China as a first sentence, deletion of the first sentence can be worked. This is another option for taking to your consideration. Okay. Do we have another? Oh, we have. Okay, thank
Mr.
you
Chair,
for
from
the
Singapore,
chat
yes.
box. Yeah, Singapore making the posting their idea to the chat box. Since we already have a preamble on the COVID, agreed to delete the sentence. Thank you. Thank you for your understanding. So now the one of the strongest position for us at the moment is a deletion of the first sentence from the paragraph 16. This is one of the original suggestion from the China. So again, I'd like to asking China first for your clarification. If we do delete the first sentence of the paragraph 16, is still understandable for your respective countries. China, if you like, please take floor. No. Singapore already having the understanding, showing their understanding for the deletion of this sentence. Do you have any another thought for retain or alter the first sentence for this additional discussion? If not,
yeah. Excuse me, Chair.
Yes, please.
Yes. Indonesia? Yeah.
Yeah. Indonesia.
Yes.
Please.
Thank you, Chair. Indonesia would like to suggest a revision from the current sentence. So it would say COVID-19 is a challenge to the people and the environment.
So for the confirmation, the COVID-19 has
is a challenge. It's a challenge to the people and the environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Indonesia, for your input. The very concise sentence, retaining the concise sentence that the COVID-19 is a challenge to the people and the environment.
Mr. Chair,
Is it-
if I may again,
Sure.
to the delegates of Indonesia, I'm not sure whether you had heard if my proposal earlier, if we can, if I could refer you again to the preambular statement, the paragraph 2 and 3, if that is already okay to take care of that, the concern on, you know, the continuing challenge that we pose on COVID-19 pandemic. And so we could shorten, perhaps, because it's already in the preambular statement.
Yep. Thank you for additional explanation, Amy. And again, I try to confirm our discussion point.
Sure, sure.
So
Yeah.
since we need to good understanding of the situation for the COVID-19 within our declaration, and we already have the short description, but a very firm description for the COVID-19 in the preamble for our declaration. So the first option is delete the first sentence of the paragraph 16, just starting from the other word, adjust the work and manage and the following sentences. And second one is still we need additional sentence to describe the COVID-19 in the last part of our declaration. And some nation is proposing some slightly changed version of the sentence, like Indonesia. Okay, Indonesia we already withdraw their suggestion, and Timor-Leste is now proposing the COVID-19 effect to the people and economics of the country. So I'm afraid that we always having the sidetrack to thinking about the proposal. We do the discussion online, so the discussion point is moving ahead very quickly. But I understood that all the country needs to taking time to consideration for the each point. So the I'm not sure that Timor-Leste is also missed or already under consideration for the previous suggestion of the deletion of the first sentence, because of we already have this kind of description in the preamble of our declaration. So I think at the moment, the majority of the floor is agreed to delete the first sentence of the last part of our declaration. Do we have any additional objection for the deletion of the first sentence of the last paragraph? Japan, you already expressed that some understanding for the modification, but now we are talking about the deletion of the first sentence. Is it acceptable for your side?
Thank you, Chair. Honestly speaking, I prefer positive text, but I can agree the deletion of first sentence. Thank you.
Thank you, Japan, for your good understanding. So, Philippines, do you have any thought, please?
Mr. Chair, while we agree with the Secretariat that we can already delete that statement in the call for action because it's already in the preambular section. But I think there's no harm in placing this statement in the call for action. So maybe the Philippines under this delegation, we can still support because there's no harm in putting that the statement. Anyway, it's just a matter of really stressing that we are concerned about the COVID-19 effect. And aside from that, maybe if we adopt while we are supporting the retention of the statement as proposed by China, we also propose the deletion of the word "end" after the pandemic, because we can already state that as a word adjust and works and manage the pandemic, resulting in if we may propose to delete the word "end" there. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Philippine, for understanding. I expressed the very precise observation for the discussion. So, okay.
Mr. Chair, I respectfully agree with the intervention of the Philippine delegation and the previous ones. I just want to have some clarity on what is the current first sentence now. So it is COVID-19 is a challenge to the people and environment. Is that what is being agreed at the moment? I just want to clarify which version.
Right. Thank you for asking for the clarification. In my understanding, the sentence is the same as your observation that we are talking about the final version of the proposed by China, that the COVID-19 is a challenge to the people and the environment, full stop. Is now being consideration for if we put this sentence or delete the sentence.
And then I think the Philippines also mentioned, oh yeah, okay, that's already taken out and result. I think that's a good adjustment.
Okay, so it is a very difficult time to making a decision for this. If I may, I suggest to retain the COVID-19 is a challenge to the people and the environment, full stop. Because of this is a very, very concise, and the detailed description is in the preamble, as Amy already explained. But still, we need to emphasis on the this kind of things is happening while we are making this decision on this declaration.
COVID-19.
Yes, Philippine, please. No, excuse me. The Japan is raising hand. Yes, Japan, please.
Thank you, Chair. Japan agrees Chair's proposal. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So now the secretary is typing for the consideration for sentence of this consideration. Yes, COVID-19 is a challenge to the people and the environment. The world adjusts and works to manage the pandemic, resulting in economic crisis. PEMC should take the opportunity to support the green recovery to build back better, healthier, and resilient ocean, people, and economics. Thank you, Alo Collier, for your understanding.
Continuous proposals of China.
Oops. So do we have any additional comments or suggestion?
I still find it a bit, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I still find it a bit grammatically awkward, but I get the point. I think that the point is clear that it's still a challenge and we're adjusting, but there's just something that's missing grammatically and grappling with it. So thank you, Mr. Chair. Can we say, for example, COVID-19 continues to pose as a challenge to the people and the environment? Or is that too much? Looking for Singapore, Philippines, English mother tongue.
Yes, we need the help. So we need to unite.
Just so it's grammatically concise.
It seems that the Timor-Leste also agree on the suggestion that we will have the very concise sentence, but if the grammatically brush up can be made, it is more better for us to take. The one of the things is that COVID-19 continues to pose as a challenge to the people and the environment. This is a suggestion from our executive director, Amy.
But if there's a better way to pose it, where I'm open. Just
sure.
Okay.
Philippine again, please.
Mr. Chair, we would like to support the suggestion of the Secretariat to make it more grammatically beautiful.
Sure.
we can adopt this representation supports the suggestion of the Secretariat to put their continues to pose as a challenge, to give a description to the challenge, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Philippine, for clarification and good support on the said sentence. Do you have any other additional comments? I wait for another 10 seconds. Okay, if none, I'd like to take our consensus onto this typical paragraph. COVID-19 continues to pose as a challenge to the people and the environment will be inserted instead of the long sentence of the COVID-19 in the original text. Do we can confirm our agreement as a SGOM? If you have objection, please raise a hand at this moment.
Director Hazri, is that okay? Grammar-wise, I'm looking for English mother tongue.
Please take floor.
Thank you very much, Amy. English is not my mother tongue as well, but I try my best. Maybe we can remove as COVID-19 continues to pose a challenge to the people and the environment. Just remove one word as. The as that, yes, COVID-19 continues to pose a challenge. So that means we remove the as there. That's right. Thank you.
Thank you for that. The English were brushed up. Thank you for your consideration and the suggestion. By this, I'd like to take the confirmation of the SGOM agree on this typical section. Okay, thank you. By then, now we are coming to the consensus onto the all the sentences checking by one basis. And as I promised, we need to make a further clarification because this is the final chance to checking our ministerial declaration to the 7th EAS Ministerial Forum. So I would like to call the distinguished countries by alphabetical order and asking your additional thought or concur of the final draft. So shall I start from Cambodia, please? Oh, excuse me, before that, I see the hand raising from the Philippines. Please take floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before we finally adopt the declaration, may we request some modifications of our signatory, Mr. Chair?
Okay.
Yeah, because maybe we can include in our signatory for the Philippines. We would like to request inclusion of the middle initial of our minister, Secretary Roy A. Simatu. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Philippines, for very important input. And please clarify the detail alternation through the Secretariat again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's noted.
Okay, thanks. So now we are coming to the round table round table additional thought hearing from the each countries. Do we have any additional thought or concur the final draft? So firstly, I would like to start asking to the Cambodia, please. You seems to muted, sir.
Okay, once again, thank you very much, Chairman and everyone for very good cooperation to this final declaration. I think that the one thing that I just a small thing that we will sign by our ministers, and what I think the pen. You know, the pen, we have two colors, black and blue color. And then also perhaps, I do not know how we can point to the pen 0.7 or 0. To sign on each signature from the different country partners, you know. So the idea on the black or blue pen to sign on the agreement, just a small thing to raise to the meeting, also to the chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for raising up the point. And excuse me but following after our discussion, I have to request to the Secretariat to clean up all the text and putting it to the final checking from your respective ministers. So at the moment, maybe the secretary cannot show the clean text at hand, but it is immediately after the our SGOM. They will provide the clean text for your final clarification. Is it okay?
Mr. Chair, I think the question was on the use of the pen. Kate?
Excuse me, yeah. Do we have any guidance from the secretary to using the pen, color of the pen for the black or blue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you,
Yes,
Dr. Moninit. Yes, we actually have a separate agenda item discussing the arrangements for the signing ceremony. But in terms of the color of the pen, we would like to recommend that we use black ink for all the signatures. We also provided actually through the MF advisory, and we will be reiterating that after we send the final version of the declaration to all countries. We also provided the measurement or the dimension of the paper that you will be using in printing the final declaration. So as mentioned by the chair, after receiving your final confirmation on the declaration through the SGOM, the Secretariat will finalize and lay out the declaration ready for printing. It will be sent out to all countries, and we would like to request that you go over it one more time and just give us a quick heads up that we can already, that everything is in order and countries may proceed to print the document. So the expectation is that at the end of this, you will be receiving a laid out, clean, and final version of the declaration ready for printing and signature at the 7th Ministerial Forum. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Yep. Thank you, Kate, for additional explanation. And the prepared layouted paper should be, or preferably signed by the Blackpink. Thank you, Cambodia, again, Okunchran. So China, can we have your final thought for within the SGOM for the ministerial declaration?
And we appreciate all inputs of the country parties today. And also we would like to express our appreciation to the great efforts made by the PRF. And we have no any further comments regarding the ministerial delegation declaration today. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Fei Chen Gan Shenying, China. And may I turn over to DPR Korea for your clarification. You still muted? Excuse me. Not yet. Take time.
Mr. Chair, may I request our IT support to please unmute DPR Korea if we can do it. Okay, from our end.
Now
Thank
it's
you.
working, seems.
우정 선생님과 집행국장 선생님이 오랜 시간 동안 상급 선언문에서 제기되는 문제들을 사회하느라고 정말 수고가 많았습니다.
Thank you very much for Mr. Chairman and Executive Director, Mrs. Amy Gonzalez, for hosting this ceremony for a very long time. Yeah, thank you very much.
현재 우리는 현재 상급 선언문에 다른 의견이 없습니다.
We have no other comments, no other objections on the current draft of the declaration. Thank you.
감사합니다, DPR Korea. Thank you very much. So now I'm trying to ask the Indonesia for your additional observation or thought, please. Indonesia, can we hear your voice?
Yes. Can you say again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes, I would like to see again about the draft of ministerial declaration. Para yang negatif.
Excuse me, the para 16, please.
Very end of the declaration.
Para 16. Yeah. Yes. Of continues to pose as and
Boleh juga.
yang mana tadi? Yeah, we would like suggest the deletion of continues to pose as and retain our previous suggestion, because in the event of the COVID-19 has already in control, and in future pandemic where countries will be significantly more prepared, thus is it no longer a challenge.
Okay.
Deletion of continues to pose as. Sebelum kita
Okay, your suggestion is deletion of the continues to pause.
Yes.
Is it right? So the sentence can be read COVID-19
Is a challenge.
is a challenge to the people and the environment. Okay, yeah, we see the chat box Indonesia additional input for that. But the majority of the people is already once agree onto the this sentence. And if the meaning of the sentence dramatically changed by this alternation, I prefer to retain our agreed sentence, but the additional comment coming from the Indonesia, because in the event of the COVID-19 has already in control, and the future pandemic where countries will be significantly more prepared. Thus, it is no longer a challenge. Excuse me, but still we have a additional challenging phase in Japan, of course, and I see the many other countries in uncertainty here. So it seems that the majority of the people here is thinking still we are some part of the challenges. If you strongly oppose to the put this word, typical word, can I ask again for the Indonesia to taking the microphone to explain additional explanation for why we eliminate the continues to pause. Thank you, Indonesia, for your quite generous agreement. Yes, the pointed out point, your point is noted, well noted, and we really wish to thinking like that. But still, we have another situation in the different respective countries. So we like to retain as it is. Thank you, Indonesia, again for your terima kasih banyak for your valuable input. So now I try to ask Japan for your comments.
Thank you, Chair. At first, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the Chair and PEMC Secretariat for their great efforts in preparing the Ministerial Declaration. Japan does not have any further comment, and Japan concur with final draft modified today. Thank you.
ありがとうございます。Thank you very much for Japan. So now, pass the microphone to Lao PDR, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We have no more further comments and we have no objection for this draft and we agree with that all. Thank you very much.
Kopchai, Lao PDR. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, Philippine, can I call you for your additional comment, please?
First and foremost, we would like to thank the Ministry of Environment of Cambodia, headed by His Excellency Van Monimit, and for graciously hosting this year's East Asian Seas Congress 7th Ministerial Forum. Special thank also to Excellency Kit Furukawa for his excellent chairing of this session. We also have been very fortunate to have the support and facilitative efforts of the PEMC Resource Facility, led by Ms. Jaime T. Gonzalez, who diligently provided the necessary technical assistance and expertise in the formulation of the draft 7th Ministerial Declaration. Following extensive consultation and in-depth review, we are positive at this point that the latest draft of the 7th Ministerial Declaration integrates and aligns all the commitments and priorities of the 11 PEMC country members towards green economic recovery, climate change, resilience, and sustainable development of our oceans and coasts, taking into consideration our global call to pursue a blue-green post-COVID-19 recovery strategy. Certainly, the declaration is in accordance with the objectives of the Philippines to intensify protection, conservation, and rehabilitation of our coastal and marine ecosystems, as embodied in our updated Philippine Development Plan for 2017 up to 2022. On behalf of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources Philippines, I urgently express our concurrence on the updated draft of the 7th East Asian Seas Ministerial Declaration as for endorsement to the ministers of the PEMC country partners. We are confident that the latest draft declaration is more than enough to accelerate fundamental actions that we need to take to ensure that the utilization of our marine resources is both environmentally and economically sustainable in the long term. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Leones. Thank you very much. So now I'd like to call Alo Collier for your thought.
Republic of Korea would like to convey deepest appreciation to PEMC Resource Facility to put efforts to develop this declaration and adopt country partners' distinguished comments. And now we have no further comments and endorse this declaration. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
감사합니다, Alo Collier, for your support. So now I would like to call Singapore for your additional comment, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. First of all, I would like to commend you, Chair, for being able to say thank you in many languages. I hope I can do the same in the future. And I'd like to also convey our appreciation to the PRS Secretariat for being able to compile all the comments and views from our member countries in a very clear form, in a way that we can able to come up with a consensus on the declaration. Singapore has no further comments on the declaration. I think we have achieved what we set out to do in the sense that we wanted to have a declaration that is overarching, that is succinct and clear in terms of what we want to do in terms of healthy oceans, people, and economies. And I commend everyone here for our collective effort to have this declaration agreed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for Singapore. So now I'd like to ask Timor-Leste for your comment, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And then from the side is I'd like to say for all college members countries is already contribute the ideas suggestion for the concluded our documents is a ministerial declaration, and the finally thanks for me executive director Mrs. Gonzalez for organizer this meeting to conclude our ministerial declaration. And then we reminded less than more or less 5 days later, we would like to implemented this document on the real real meeting in ministerial meeting. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Muito obrigado. Timor-Leste. So last but not least, I'd like to hear from Vietnam, please. Vietnam, can you hear us? I cannot hear your voice.
Miss Hang, Dr. Hang, are you still there from Vietnam?
Yeah, I'm sorry that the promised time is already passed, but does anyone hear from Vietnam? Ah, yes, please. You are muted still. Thank you. Yes, please. We're asking for the final confirmation for our ministerial declaration. Ms. Han, floor is yours. If you like, you can have the some comment for if you agree on to the conquer the final draft of the ministerial declaration.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. You are asking Vietnam.
Yes.
Okay.
so one by one basis,
Thank you, Mr.
alphabetically,
Chair.
order,
Yes.
we are asking
Thank
for
you,
the
Mr.
country
Chair.
to.
And I think today Mr. Chair and the Secretary work great work. And so far, we agree with all the correction today. And at this moment, we have no further comment. And thank you.
Thank you very much for Vietnam. So thank you very much again for all the countries expressing the confirmation on the conquer for the final draft. Here, I'd like to request the Secretary to finalize and clean up the declaration and taking into consideration for the final input from the meeting, and for the PRF to send out the final declaration to all countries immediately to facilitate printing in time for the 7th Ministerial Forum. With this, I would like to proceed to the agenda, remaining agenda. I'm really sorry for my bad direction that takes too much time for that, but still we need to go through the agenda, bear with us. So can I ask for Secretary to present the final 7th Ministerial Forum program and the final agreements? Kate, please take floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you again to all our country representatives for reaching that milestone. Thank you. So I will be presenting the final program for the Ministerial Forum and the arrangements for December 2. This is to provide you with an overview of what will happen on December 2 so you can properly brief and guide your respective heads of delegation as well. So the Ministerial Forum will be conducted on December 2. It will open at exactly 9 o'clock a.m. Cambodia time. But prior to 9 o'clock, we will be conducting, again, final video and audio check with all the countries. And we are in communication already with different country teams on this. And before the start of the Ministerial Forum, we will also be providing announcement on the forum guidelines. So this particular event is hosted by the Royal Kingdom of Cambodia, particularly by the Ministry of Environment. And the Ministerial Forum will be chaired by the Minister of MOE, His Excellency Sai Samal. And we will be having representatives from all 11 PEMC countries, and we are very glad that we have already received confirmation for all heads of delegation. And then we will have a number of participants, particularly coming from the executive committee, the non-country partners of PEMC, the different networks from the local government, the academe, and the youth, and then representatives from regional and international organizations, and private sector, and other friends of PEMC. So on December 2, we start at 9 o'clock a.m. with the introduction of the heads of delegation and key participants. So our MC will be introducing the country delegation one by one at the start of the Ministerial Forum. And then that will be followed by the introduction of the key PEMC officials and other participants. After that, we will proceed with the opening of the 7th Ministerial Forum through a statement coming from the Minister of MOE, followed by the Ministerial Forum opening video. After the opening video, the chair will immediately proceed in inviting the countries one by one to deliver their respective country statements. And we shall be doing this in alphabetical order. We will start with China up to Vietnam. And since Cambodia is the host country, they will be speaking last during the ministerial statement portion. So we are thankful once again to all countries for providing us already with their written country statements, and some of them even include supporting visuals or PowerPoints. And then for Agenda 4.0, so after the ministerial statements are delivered, we will proceed with the signing of the ministerial declaration. So before the signing ceremony itself, the PEMC Executive Director will first provide an overview of the key elements or highlights of the declaration. So that will provide introduction to the document that will be adopted by all countries. That will also provide the countries enough time to prepare for the signing ceremony itself. So after the overview from the PEMC ED, we will have the signing ceremony. And we would like to emphasize that we will be doing this simultaneously in all 11 countries. So we will show you some example visuals on that later. After the signing ceremony, we will have series of group photos. The first group photo will focus on the country delegation or heads of delegation holding onto their signed declaration. After that, we will have a group photo of the heads of delegation together with the PEMC officials, and then a group photo of the members of the Secretariat and other participants. Lastly, the closing of the Ministerial Forum, we will be hearing from our Council Chair for the closing message on behalf of the Partnership Council, and the closing remarks of the Ministerial Forum Chair and announcements from our Master of Ceremonies. So as you can see, it's a very straightforward program because we recognize that our ministers, vice ministers, and other senior government officials also have to attend to other very important matters. So thank you once again for confirming their participation. So after after the Ministerial Forum, we would just like to inform you as well that we will also be having a press conference. But for this press conference, we will be limiting the panel of speakers to the MOE Minister, the Council Chair, and the Executive Director of PEMC, and they will be joined by accredited media representatives from our PEMC country partners. And again, we thank our focal persons in each country for helping us secure media representatives for this event. Again, this is open to other observers who would like to witness the press conference as well. The conference is only 30 minutes, so we'll start with the announcement of the guidelines, introduction of the speakers and media representatives, followed by the welcome message from the ED, and then the Q&A with media, and the closing and group photo. So the entire Ministerial Forum up to the press conference is expected to be completed in half a day. So on the signing of the Ministerial Declaration, so as mentioned, we will finalize the declaration based on the modifications and agreement we have made today at the SGOM. And this will be provided to all countries in a laid out version for printing. And once we send this out, we will include guidance notes on the ink that you need, the color of the pen that you need to use, the number of copies that need to be signed, as well as the dimension of the paper that will have to be used in printing the final declaration. So we take note that the country heads of delegation will be signing the final declaration on December 2, and I already indicated here 3 copies. This has been our standard from previous ministerial events. 2 copies of that will go to PRF and 1 will be retained in the countries. And then the signing ceremony again will be conducted simultaneously, but during the actual event, our MC will be providing guidance to all countries so we can do this in an efficient manner. So this is, as you can see here, this is a sample visual of how we expect it to be reflected on screen during the actual signing event and the group photo. Here, we group the countries. This is in alphabetical order from Cambodia to Vietnam. So we requested the countries to have a physical setup in your respective meeting venues, preferably with your country flag and your ministry flag if you have a ministry flag. We understand that for some ministries, they do not have ministry flags with them. We also requested all countries to please ensure that you have the country name in front of the head of delegation as a place card to ensure consistency in all countries. So this is for the signing of the ministerial declaration. So during the signing, you may also request your senior government officials who are part of the delegation to stand behind the head of delegation or the minister or vice minister to witness the signing ceremony itself. And so we can also capture them on screen. So that is for the signing of the ministerial declaration. So as you know, this is the very first time that we're going to conduct this in a virtual platform. And so we have engaged the service of an events company, More Media, and they are based in Jakarta, Indonesia. And we will be working with them and doing rehearsals with them next week. So we have already issued the advisory to all countries, which include information on all the requirements to facilitate your preparation for this important event. We have included in the advisory the specific login that you will use for each country. So this login will immediately direct you to the Zoom platform for the Ministerial Forum, and there will be no need for the countries to register anymore. So this is done to facilitate easy access and login for countries. For countries who will be having interpretation, and we understand that we have 2, one from China and one from Vietnam during the delivery of their respective country statements. So there will be a separate virtual room for the interpreters, and they will be linked in our Zoom platform as well. So everyone can hear the English version of the statements. The event will be streamed live on December 2 through our social media platforms of PEMC. We also would like to reiterate that we have scheduled 2 batches of rehearsals. This is for to conduct IT check, audio and video check, and also to go over the program itself to ensure that everything is in order and to familiarize the team who will be guiding the heads of delegation or the country delegation during MF. We would like to request countries to please confirm which batch you will join. Is it November 29 or November 30? Both of this will be conducted at 1 to 3 p.m. Cambodia time. So again, Mr. Chair, we would like to request the SGOM or our SGOs or designated officers to please, after this, schedule a briefing with your country heads of delegation regarding the program and the arrangements. You may use the program and the MF advisory documents that were already shared to all countries. And then we would like to request to ensure that each country has an assigned team that would facilitate your in-country setup and also attend the rehearsal. So we would appreciate if you can communicate with us your preferred rehearsal date based on the options that I have just presented. So, Chair, I would like to offer the floor back to you just to hear further from our countries if they have further questions, comments, or concerns. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Kate. And now the floor is open for any questions, comments, or suggestions. Do you have any things to be clarified at this stage? If not, I would like to stress again that please participate in the scheduled program rehearsals, and please let the PRF to which days you prefer to attend. And also kindly request for facilitate in-country arrangement to ensure the success of the 7th Ministerial Forum. With that, I'd like to proceed to Agenda 4.0. And again, I would like to request the Secretariat to provide an update regarding the status of the confirmation of country delegations for the 7th Ministerial Forum. Kate, please take floor.
Thank you, Chair. So this is just to provide you with an update on the list of delegation that we have received from countries for the 7th MF proper. So as what you can see now on the screen is just the heads of delegation from each of the country. So from Cambodia, Minister Saisamal will be leading the delegation, and he will be supported by His Excellency Yang Sofaliet, who will be delivering the country statement since Minister Saisamal will be chairing the forum. From China, we have received confirmation of Dr. Zhang Zhanhai, the Chief Engineer and Director General of MNR, to represent the country during the MF and lead the delegation. From DPR Korea, the Vice Minister, Honorable Ri Myung-san, will be leading the delegation of DPR Korea during MF. From Indonesia, we are also happy to receive confirmation from the Minister, Madam Siti Nurbaya Bakar, as the representative of Indonesia, together with her team. From Japan, the Deputy Minister for Technical Affairs of MLIT has confirmed Honorable Masayuki Takada together with MLIT officials. And from Lao PDR, again, we're happy to have Madam Minister Bonkam Vorachit of Monre, who will be leading the team of Lao PDR during the event. Also, from the Philippines, we have Secretary Roy A. Simatu to lead the team of the DENR. And then from Korea, we're also very pleased. This had just arrived yesterday, and we're very thankful that Minister Moon Seong-hyuk will be representing MOF and ARO Korea during the event together with his delegation. And from Singapore, our friend, Director Hasri Hassan will be representing Singapore and the Ministry of Sustainability and the Environment together with his team. From Timor-Leste, we also received just recently the confirmation of Minister Pedro Dos Reis as the head of delegation from the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries of Timor. And then lastly, from Vietnam, we're happy to have our Deputy Minister from Monre, Lê Minh Ngan, to lead the delegation. So these are the heads of delegation who will be present and will be expected to deliver the statements and sign the declaration during the 7th MF. On document number 4 that we have shared with you, you will see there the full list of delegation per country. And our request to the country partners is if you can please reconfirm or confirm your list of delegation. And also, if you have further updates regarding your country delegation, please let us know, or you may share it at this forum. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Kate. And as mentioned by the Secretariat, please confirm your final list of the delegation for the 7th Ministerial Forum. Or if any, please provide further update, if any. And the input from the Philippines, that the insertion of the middle name for their respective delegation is well noted. And brief your respective heads of delegation about our Ministerial Forum program and arrangement beforehand. Do we have any comment at the moment? Okay, so we'd like to proceed to the final agenda is a group photo. So please direct us for how we can prepare for that. Secretariat?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. May I call on my colleague June, please, to assist us and guide us for the group photo session. And also, may we request all country delegates to please turn on your videos. So, and also the members of the Secretariat to please turn on your videos for the group photo session. Thank you very much. June, please provide some guidance. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, please open your camera and I'll be counting 1 to 3. I see from Vietnam.
Okay, we see our colleagues from China MNR. May we request colleagues from Indonesia, Singapore, Philippines. Who else is not yet open?
Yes, I'm agree.
No, we are taking the photo.
Sorry.
Please keep your video on. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. 1, 2, 3. And another one. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. So we are coming to the end of the agenda. Thank you very much for your kind attendance and participation for the discussion in the lucky 7th EAS Senior Government Officials Meeting. I also would like to congratulate ourselves for reaching consensus on the Ministerial Declaration, which will show and guide the region's new and powerful commitment in support of the Global Sustainable Development Agenda, as well as the UN Decade of the Ocean Science and UN Decade of the Ecosystem Restoration started this year. I especially thank Ministerial of Environment Cambodia, who has been working full-time together with the PRF to ensure smooth arrangement for the 7th Ministerial Forum. I would like to remind again for everyone to coordinate closely with the Secretariat and actively participate in the remaining preparatory activities leading to the 7th Ministerial Forum. With this, I sincerely wish everyone good health and safety under our difficult time ongoing, and to look forward to meeting you all respective countries, delegation at the 7th Ministerial Forum proper on December 2nd. Thank you again for your kind cooperation. The meeting officially adjourned. Back to you, Secretariat. Thank you for your all.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your cooperation and support, and we'll see you on December 1. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Please expect our email this afternoon. Thank you very much, everyone. And to our colleagues, particularly also DDG Jong, this is very much appreciated, and we look forward to having you on December 2 during the actual ministerial event. And to all our country partners, thank you very much for all your support. So we'll provide more information in this afternoon and in the coming days. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye everyone. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
See you in the rehearsals and December 1 and 2. All right. Cheers.